I thought I'd just give a quick video about pallets and the versatility of all this free wood. Every now and again I take the dado out, the wagon, and people throw these pallets out. You can see I've got a fair few stocked up. And you just tear them up, put the boards apart. I sort them here onto these other pallets. I'll put the long stuff over there, the more solid stuff like 2x4s and that sort of thing, and here the the thin boards. But I'll show you some of the stuff I've done with them so far. The first thing I did was fix up a small wall on the shed. You can see there, that's all from pallet wood. These big long ones on the side are the same. Just painted up. That was this Bernie board stuff before, and you can see the weather, it's just flaking off. This was really bad here because it does cop a bit of the weather. It does cop a bit of the weather. There's one of the boards. That's got to go over here and be painted. That's the first thing I done. The second thing was made this retaining wall. It's not really a retaining wall, just a wall. I'm going to lift up the dirt in the garden bed there a bit and level it off with the back of the shed concrete. That's all pallets, just painted with some fence paint. Yeah, it's not the greatest wood, but it's free. Painted it with some cheap paint, put the weed mat over, and brought that right up over just to give that some weather protection, which should make it last a hell of a lot longer, over the posts, which are just cut V's in the ends of the 2x4s and drove them in with a sledgehammer. So that's the second thing. The third thing I did, and this was just recently, this old septic tank, I've sealed it off on the inside with some cromolin, that stuff there actually, trowel and waterproofing from cromolin, which is good stuff, fairly dear, but you could put it on wet, which was the main thing. Everything else, it needs to be dry, so to get it dry, this concrete dry in there, I would have really had to put some heaters on and cover it up for a while and just let it bake all the moisture out. It's quite deep. It must be nearly about 1.5 meters deep, 1.4 meters. So quite moist at the bottom. What I wanted to do though, I thought instead of having a horrible concrete tank here, the top showing, might just turn it into a pond. So sealed it all off. Hopefully it's going to hold water up to the very top now. Before it didn't. The concrete had a few small holes in it, and there were some drain pipe here and an entry pipe up the other side. So I filled them with some cement and then rendered over the top. And then for safety, I was going to get some mesh and put in here, but then I thought, well, mesh, I'm going to have to drive some bolts into the side to hold the mesh up, and the mesh costs a fair bit of money. So I had the idea, the eureka moment, I might just build a wooden frame up and across. It's kind of like a bed bottom really. Just some rough cuts in some of the crap. I used some of the crappier pallet wood, some with cracks in it, you can see, and some bigger stuff to brace it, and that's braced off the bottom, on the ends, there in the middle and up that end. And it's pretty good. You can walk on it. I wouldn't jump off the top down onto it, but definitely walkable. I put a couple of the spare flat ones along. If you did stand on them, you can see they brace along all of them. But yeah, it's quite good, and that's just to stop people if you ever fell in here, which is entirely possible, especially being this low. At least you're not going to go down to your neck. You're only going to go down about 30 centimeters, so halfway up your shin. And the same for the pets or anything too. So because before the water level this used to be full of water, but about half a meter, it would stay pretty constantly down from the top, about half a meter. So if anything fell in, like a small dog or chickens, they would, unless you were there around, they could die, if not from drowning, from the cold, because it was quite cold, especially in winter. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. I'm just waiting for the render. It needs another 2 days before it's completely cured, and then we can fill it up, and hopefully the water will stay to the brim. And after I get a bit more keen after that, I'll brick it up a little higher around the sides. I'll bring it up probably to about this high, so it's just not so ground level, and that'll make it even safer again. And then the chickens, they've got a permanent watering hole, and I don't really have to worry about their water. But yeah, look, I'll bounce on it a bit. It's pretty good. And all that's just free spare timber off pallets that normally go to waste. So you never know. Little pallets, they come in handy. When I started getting them, I never thought I'd do that. I never thought I'd build that wall. I never thought I'd really build that wall. I just one day just started picking them up and taking them apart, and once I took a few apart, I just started having ideas. So yeah, pretty happy with it. Anyway, maybe some ideas for pallets.